pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, Mr. Turner.
Commissioner Meeks.
I'm here.
Commissioner Eichmeyer.
Here.
Commissioner Dolger.
Here.
Commissioner Zimmerman.
Here.
All right, I need approval of minutes of meeting held February 21st of 2022. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call, Mr. Turner.
Commissioner Meeks.
Yes.
Commissioner Eichmeyer.
Yes.
Commissioner Dolger.
Yes.
Commissioner Zimmerman.
Yes.
Okay. We have nobody under visitors, but is anybody here to speak this evening? Yes, sir.
I came this evening, my name's Jeff Thomas, and I came to ask you guys to consider increasing the limit on liquor licenses, in particularly the C-Class package liquor license. I know that we lowered some recently, and that there were some spoken disapproval for the approval on the family video. And I know I was attempting to apply for that in particular license. They just got to it before me, and for the building of the old Boss Machine Shop.
Okay.
And I was just considering coming to see if you all would consider increasing that.
Does anybody have any comments?
Well, where would this be at?
The old Boss Machine Shop on 3rd Street.
3rd and Chestnut.
Next to the soon-to-be new Dollar General. It's a red building on the corner.
Yeah.
This would make, if what you guys approve, be the 5th packaged liquor store.
Correct.
Boss Machine Shop.
And it would just be a liquor store? Is that what you're?
Yes, it'd be a package store, yeah. It would also offer video gaming if approved by the state and such.
Does anybody have any questions or comments?
How many liquor stores we have?
Well, we have 3 right now, and then we had a 4th license that had been open for a very long time, and it was bought by J.K. Patel out of Evansville.
Video store?
Yes.
Is that one of the ones that we reduced the number on?
No.
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 How many arcades do we have? Gambling arcades, I guess. Is that what they call it, an arcade?
I believe
Right.
there's 11 or 12.
We have a total, I believe, last I checked, was 74 video gaming terminals in town.
When you say terminals, does that mean machines?
Machines.
There are 5 video gaming applications, then you've got the club applications that have them, and the current liquor stores, the Class C.
Mhm.
There are 1, 2 currently that have the video gaming, and I'm positive that the one on Walnut Street at the Family Video
Yes.
will end up having them.
Yep. Does the council have any interest in moving forward with an additional package C license at this time?
Are they $1,200?
15.
$1,500?
I mean, I would like to see like,
I myself, I've gotten a lot of feedback from a lot of people in the community on the 4th one,
Yes, I noticed that as well.
and I didn't have anybody say it was a good thing. I believe, I've had conversations with Mr. Rafferty and stuff. I never thought that it would be taken up, but apparently people see it different than I do. But unless somebody else has any comments up here.
Have you already purchased the building?
My partner has, yes. And I am part owner of Como's Daiquiri Depot and the Lucky Lady on 9th Street. So I am familiar with how it all functions as well.
Do you have any other use for the building if we say no?
Potentially, it would be up to my partner who actually purchased the building.
is your partner involved in the Daiquiri Depot too?
He is my landlord, yeah.
Okay.
But that, he's not.
So why is your partner not here?
He lives in Louisiana.
Oh. Personally, I don't think we need another one, but that's
I mean, if
one opinion.
all you're asking is, do I want another liquor store, then it's no, but I mean,
There would need to be a motion. If you guys fail to make a motion, then
Yeah.
Then
it's
there
not.
had to be an ordinance, so it's gotta
Yeah.
come back.
But if you guys don't make a motion, or you make a motion, but either way, we can move forward, one way or another.
Is there a motion to move forward with looking at a 5th liquor license for a package C store? Hearing none, I don't think we are in the position to grant that request at this time.
Thank you for your time.
Hey, not a problem. Thank you very much. Anybody else? Okay. All right. Moving on to reports. Want to welcome everybody to the meeting this evening. We always like to get community feedback, but we really like to come out and meet and see what you're referring to when you leave us notes in the Dropbox. We receive notes in the Dropbox all the time. It's not that we want to know who you are or anything else. We view that if there's an issue within the city, by meeting with you, we partner with you on solving the issue. Last week, I was left a message, garbage truck destroying the street on Elm, also street light out on Elm before the alley, west side. I understand the note, it's on Elm. We're on Elm. There's multiple blocks of Elm. Also, Mr. James, there's a street light out on Elm somewhere. So if you find that street light, I bet I can find where the trash trucks are destroying the road. But if you leave information, please be very precise, per se, in the, the 100 block of Elm or something, if you don't want to leave your name. That way, at least we have something to go off of. We get these notes all the time. And what we ask you is just to call City Hall, 262-4822. Report the issue. We can write a work order up, it can be generated, and we can track that road's issues also, which is something that we've started. And it, most likely, if we're seeing an issue in a certain road on a certain area, most likely we can schedule it to get resurfaced a lot sooner, because if nobody's calling with issues with a road, we're gonna think everything's great. So anyway, if you have any issues, please call City Hall. We're always looking for ways to improve the community. Sometimes it comes in many different ways. We've had some additional money that come our way this year. The council started up with gambling revenues. We started the ACES Scholarship. That was 2 scholarships at $750 apiece for high school seniors within the corporate city limits of Mount Carmel. Another thing that we have done with this gambling revenue here recently for our youth is we are doing improvements down at 4th Street Ballpark. The bleachers that were there were, I don't know how old they were, but they were homemade ones.
really old. Boss
And
Machine Shop probably, man, to be honest with you.
I bet Charlie Boss made those. He was a godsend on making all this equipment. But nowadays, the state has regulations that if it's got a hole or it's rusted, you can't fix it. If it was homemade, it's got to come out. So all the bleachers down at 4th Street had to come out, unfortunately, because all of them were in the same condition, basically. So we took money out of the gambling revenues, and we bought new bleachers. We've started on the girls' softball field first, and also to improve it, we put concrete pad down first. So that way it's easier for cleaning and also the longevity of the bleachers. So it's always nice to take that money and put it back in the community for things for our youth. So
And on behalf of the Little League Board, we appreciate the city
Yep.
doing that, because that was gonna be a cost we did not wanna incur.
yes.
Or try to figure out how to pay for that.
And we have some more things to come that we are using that revenue for. Tonight, I also want to address the council on the city pool. It's coming up pool season soon. Some things that we need to talk about this evening is our rates for 2022. Currently, we are charging $2.50 to enter, and $175 for a pool party for 2 hours. Our neighbors, Albin, they charge $3 a person. Grayville has an interesting way of doing things. It's $3 a person if you're out of town. And as they've said to me, they're just they don't have much turnout in Grayville at the city pool. In fact, if it's open more than 2 hours a day during the summer, they were pretty excited about it. So this last year, they lowered their rates to $1. They're gonna raise them from what they're looking at to do this year just because of the cost. Fairfield is $4 for an adult resident. And Fairfield charges $175 also for a pool party. Do we want to leave it at $250 or do we want to bump up to $3 like everybody else?
Did we make money or break even last year?
We weren't,
I know we had, the COVID shut us down.
Yeah.
The pump shut us down, but
The pump shut us down COVID the year prior. In 2019, we actually finished in the positive as far as overall, but the reason we did is because of concession. We're not even breaking even on the entry.
well, I know we gotta spend a lot of money on the pumps.
Where we at with that, I guess, would be the first question.
Okay, well,
I
my
mean, are we
next,
gonna be open this summer?
we are going to be open. So today, Mike Gidcombe and Brian Cropper met with Cardinal Pump out of St. Peters, Missouri. I've been working with at least four different companies. We've had pump companies come in and look at our city pool pump system, never to hear from again. In fact, I spoke with two of them and they just said, we don't want anything to do with that mess.
Scared them off.
Our pump system's very old. Anyway, so speaking with Cardinal Pump today, their proposal, and I don't have a fee, I got a ballpark, but what they're gonna do is we're gonna remove them, send them off. They're gonna completely try to rebuild the electrical motor. They can't rebuild it, then it's gonna be a new one. New electrical motor is between $4,000 and $5,000, depending on how good of brand you want. The pumps, a new pump is anywhere from $10,000 to $20,000. But the only problem is, like everything else, you're talking 6 or 7 months on a new pump. But they do have the parts in stock to rebuild them. So what they're going to do, the casings of the pumps are in great shape still. They're just, they're gonna take them, sandblast them, refurbish them, and then ship them back to us. And anyway, they're ballparking around $40,000 for the main circulation and the backwash pump both.
What, I was thinking last year when this shut down, we were thinking it was gonna be like $750,000 to get it redone. What's the difference?
What's the difference is that we're not including the filtration,
So it's just the pump?
just the pumps.
Just-
We're looking, I'm
just trying to get open this year.
just trying to get open and reuse our filtration that's 47, 8 years old.
Have to eventually be,
You're right.
Filtration will still work.
It still works.
they backwash pump,
Yeah,
because of how bad it ran this past year, with a new rebuilt, it should be even better than
Yeah.
what we've had. in the
our problem is that the backwash pump's been limping for a number of years and the filtration's not been getting cleaned. So, anyway, and it was one of the packing in the pump itself was one of our major leaks this last season, well, actually the last several seasons. But he's ballparked around $40,000 to get that up and going without touching the filtration. When we talked about $750,000 to get everything done, we were talking new media filtration and the new pump system. And just the filtration alone, $600,000 for the new media style, which is a cartridge style that you change out every year. IEPA would really love to see us go to that because the filtration that we have now is technology from 1937 and older.
What is the status of the grant that was applied for?
DCEO has said that as I've told Mr. Madden multiple times in Friday's show, they keep giving dates, they keep moving them back, but I have been reassured again for the 100th time by DCEO that by the end of March, they're going to award the grants. But at this point, there's no guarantee that we're going to get one.
You're talking 40,000 to rebuild the 2 pumps.
Yes,
And where would that money, what money would we spend on that?
it's going to have to come out of capital improvements or general.
And with the capital improvements, that is currently money that we are collecting from,
As part of our,
Well, yeah, we're getting it from different
Yeah.
areas. One of those areas.
we've got 105,000 roughly, 106,000.
Like,
It's not.
any buildings that we have for rent, or that we rent,
not
it's that money, you've got, we're putting that in capital improvements.
we have the money.
It's just part.
Yes, we have the money. It's just,
Part of the line.
we have waited because of the hope to get a grant to not spend this money.
Gotcha.
And with that $40,000, they're like right now, our pumps aren't aligned. The motors are not in alignment with the pumps, and that eats the pumps out. They don't run properly. The platen on the circulation pump is completely rotted. It's steel, and it needs to be completely taken out and a stainless put in. And then, like I said, the circulation, it needs lined also, and basically,
So I guess here's my, where I stand, where my question lies here is, where did you say, did we break even? I missed that part. Did we break even last year or close to it?
it's close.
I would say, I mean, this is something the kids all ride their bikes to and stuff. I would just say keep it the same and maybe even offer a season pass at whatever rate.
Well, the problem with the season pass, and a lot of city pools have went away from them, is because you can't track it. You could show up at the city with a season pass, and you could have my kids with you and say, hey, they're all my kids.
Oh, yeah.
That has been an issue out there forever. Susan's father had an issue with it, and that's why we went away from it and went to the punch passes.
Okay. Well, whatever we end up doing there,
Yeah.
I personally would like to keep it as cheap as possible.
Oh, yeah, I agree fully.
I think
Yeah, but
the city pool is kind of like the city park.
Yep.
We provide that as a service. for
I would love to
citizens.
not charge anything,
And
frankly.
it's,
Yeah.
I mean, we don't charge people to go to the city park. We don't make money off the city park. We spend a lot of money maintaining the city park.
Yep.
So I agree with Justin. If we can just set up, we break even,
Yeah.
I would say that would be the best setup. I mean, we can't get this $40,000 back off the back of a bunch of kids who wanna go swimming.
No.
No, your only issue you got is comparing, if you're going back to like 19, when the last full year we were open.
Yeah.
We pay our lifeguards minimum wage.
We used to pay $1 more, but they paid for the training. Now we're paying for the training and we're paying a minimum wage.
Which is $2 more than it was in 2019, or maybe more, I can't remember.
It's-
Three, I think.
It's three.
So,
Three.
so, we do have that factor. I'm okay with leaving it myself, but it's gonna keep going up
Yeah.
every year.
Yeah.
So at some point, we're gonna have to look at that.
We've not had an increase since, well, the council voted in 2019 to move it back down from $3 to $2.50. So either leave it at $2.50 or put it back at $3.
Well, since we are incurring more expense by paying the lifeguards from this minimum wage increase that we are required to do, then maybe we should bump it 50 cents.
Yeah.
I still don't think we need to charge kids for that. I really don't. 50 cents, what's 50 cents gonna really raise you in revenue? I mean, if we're kind of arguing on 50 cents per admission for,
Depends on how many 50 cents you get.
Based off past admission, you're talking a 25% increase. Because, depending on how many people are out there on an average day and stuff, you'd see a nice bump to, and with, minimum wage just raised it, $1 back in January? And we've eaten and like I said, also something to keep in mind too,
I was gonna say your concession stand.
concessions is gonna go up.
Your chemicals are gonna go up too.
Yes.
Drastically.
Chemicals are gonna go up, your concession costs are gonna go up. I think gas is $4.40 a gallon here in town.
That's why I wanna keep it cheap.
So you say we were at $3 one time and dropped it to $2.50?
I,
Why?
Because you guys wanted to reduce it.
I,
Was I here then?
Yes, you were here.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
with all the extra costs that people are incurring right now that are out of everybody's control, it's not gonna break the city to leave it one more year at where
Yep.
it's at.
I think it'd be fine, but
I know it's not ideal, but
I'm okay with it too. I just wanna make sure we all are thinking on the same page about our cost structure, cause we're not gonna break even most likely unless we have
No.
a booming concession year, so.
this is
Yeah.
good. But,
I don't want to, I was just trying to get at, we don't need to think we're gonna have a chance at breaking even this year.
I
with
get it, but
extra costs.
I fear it's gonna be about twice as bad as it is right now in the middle of the summer, so.
yeah, well, you're gonna have more people stay here in town too, so.
That's just my take. You guys,
Yeah.
do whatever you think.
If nobody wants to make a motion to raise it, we'll just leave it as is. Everybody fine with 250? And then keeping it 175 for the pool party? Only thing on the pool parties is we're going to have to, really, I know one thing that we had issue with, and, is 2 hours, 6 to 8, and they've gotta be out by 8, because we had kids that were logging 30 and 40 minutes over last year because people just wouldn't leave, so, but I'll work on that, so. I do need a motion to, approve up to $40,000 in the repair of the pump system at the city pool. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All, roll call, Mr. Turner.
Who the hell first that? You did?
Eric
I
did, he
couldn't
was
hear it.
fast.
Gosh, Jeremy,
I
I'm
mean,
quick.
he just rolled.
All my kids.
Oops, sorry. All right, Commissioner Meeks,
Yes.
your report.
Oh, thought we were taking a vote.
We didn't,
Oh, sorry, roll call. Sorry, I'm getting ahead.
Yes again.
Commissioner Meeks.
Yes for the third time.
All right, Commissioner Wright.
yes.
Commissioner Dolger.
Yes.
Commissioner Zimmerman.
Yes.
All right. Now, Commissioner Meeks.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Before I go through this, I just want to let everybody know this is just a small sample of what the street department does on a daily basis. I mean, if I wrote down everything that we do, my report would be as long as Dogger's.
No, and mine's only a quarter of
And
it.
I will try to
Maybe
keep
10%.
it a lot less than that. Street department last 2 weeks, we just about got that public works building ready to go. Been working on it. They cleaned the in tanks. We keep getting rain, we keep cleaning intakes.
I get it.
If you have one of these storm drains intakes in your street, in front of your house, on the corner, we would greatly appreciate it if you would help us out by cleaning them out. Because they flood and then we get calls that you have water in your garage when all you had to do is go out there with a leaf blower or a rake. 2 minutes, you could have taken care of that problem yourself. Worked with the water and sewer maintenance on a sewer main. Had a blockage at 1100 block Mulberry. We replaced several signs up around the high school. No parking this side of the street, whatever. Inspected several storm drain issues caused by obstructions. I learned something about that when I helped them out. Spread salt for the upcoming ice storms, patched a few potholes in several streets in town. If you have a pothole, call City Hall, just like the mayor said a while ago. We'll put it on the list, try to get to it. We changed some lights at the 4th Street Ballpark. And as the mayor was talking about earlier, the bleachers, we're replacing them, so we poured concrete pads at the softball field. Assisted the water department in Mulberry Station, street lift station, exterior valve, and that's the end of my report, Mayor.
Thank you, Commissioner Meeks.
You're welcome.
To add to it, when we bought the Public Works building, we thought we'd have some room to help other entities that were needing it, and Mr. Turner rented out 2 offices to Illinois Department of Transportation and 1 to Sierra Bravo, and then we've also actually just rented out 2 more offices for additional revenue to Illinois, or Southeastern Illinois Agency on Aging today, so,
Great. Nice
know.
job, Mr.
Is that permanent?
could be.
Good, we're all aging.
Yes, we
Oh,
are.
man, we've already made money on that building.
Wouldn't say that.
Well, the revenue that we are making will be put, will be put back into the building. And, you know, like the Area Agency on Aging, they've had issues with their building, and they've not been able to find something low cost to go into. And with the, as Commissioner Meeks said, we're all aging, and they do a lot of great things with all the senior centers in a 9-county area. And also they run their own programs, and so, you know, they were very excited today on our generous offer to give them a new home, so anyway. Commissioner Eichmeyer.
Thank you, Mayor. Past 2 weeks been pretty quiet in terms of revenue, 29,212, which hit in several miscellaneous areas. Most of it was in state use tax and a little bit in the gaming revenue that the mayor mentioned earlier. Expenses of just over 100,000, bringing us to cash balance to 2,080,182. In the general fund and revenue year-to-date of just over 3.2 million in the general fund there. I did note earlier, I don't know if everybody heard, but the capital improvement fund has 105,914 if we need to utilize that. And recreation has 51,726. So, that is the end of my report.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Eichmeyer. Commissioner Dogger.
Thank you, Mayor. Water Department, we will be given authorization tonight for Joe and the city manager to sign the loan agreement with the EPA. We did find out that the 1.22% interest on the $12 million water plant loan, actually, we got approved for 0.83. So that additional interest savings will be enough for, unfortunately, the $400,000 increase in the filters that have happened since we bid this out because of the inflation. So we had to, that will cover the difference there. So that is a good thing about it. But the most important thing is these papers from the EPA finally got here and are getting signed, because we're getting very close to basically maybe having to rebid this thing, to be totally honest with you, because it was coming down to the very end. We had already extended it one time, and so good news is we're still on track now, and we'll have a meeting here soon to kick it off. Mike, you have anything to add on that?
Actually, the resolution is going to be for the contract agreement with Kiefer Brothers.
Yeah.
No, I said that wrong, but
Same
yeah, same thing, but for them, for Kiefer Brothers, my bad.
Yep.
All right, we still have the levee pumps running, and bacteria samples were taken finally and sent in due to the high water, and everything came back good. Sewer plant, we changed oil and greased all 4 aeration blowers. Those are our new blowers that we put in a couple years ago. We did do some maintenance on those. K&M finally got here to swap out the pump at Mulberry Lift Station number 1, and they will be back. We collected and shipped our samples, and then we got the electrical fixed on screw pump number 1, which has been inoperable. And Joe went down there with his background and helped get that running, so I appreciate that, Joe. Maintenance department finished filling the hole where we had issues on Mulberry Street a couple weeks ago. Fifth and Pear had a water main break today, and the crews just finished, right, Mike?
10th and Pear.
10th and Pear, and they just finished. They repaired broken sewer at 1225 Chestnut in the alley, and they inspected the pump gates at Pecan Levee Station. Into my report.
Thank you, Commissioner Dogger. Commissioner Zimmerman.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, the fire department has made 11 runs. They also had some training that included checking of their turnout gear in these last 2 weeks. One of the runs was to Crossville, where they assisted the Crossville Fire Department in that large building fire that was taking place. Our ladder truck was there, and several of our firefighters to assist with that. commend them for all of the work that they did. It was a very cold night, and they were out there for a while. In addition, the ladder truck then, after we got it back, there were a couple issues with it, so we have had those repaired. We had to fix a water leak in it, and then also an oil leak, and now fixing a tire on it. So you know, those tires are a little more expensive than what you put on your regular car. So we've got a couple of repairs on some of the equipment there. In addition, Guns and Hoses will be on March the 13th. So everyone is invited to that. It's $5 per person. And the monies that are raised for that will be going to a new Santa house. And I want to thank Rod Rodriguez for organizing that. He always has done that, and we appreciate him doing that. And then, in addition, the brush site, so just kind of a reminder that the brush site does not accept tires, paint, electronics, those type of items. So if you have those items, that is not the location to take them. We are working on getting an electronic recycling day later on in the year. So right now, you're gonna just have to hang on to them unless you take them elsewhere. But our brush site is not the location for those things to be deposited. So, end of my report.
Thank you, Commissioner Zimmerman. Mr. Turner?
All right, have a few things on the agenda this evening. As you see in the consent, we have a TIP application review from T&M Furniture Corporation. This was a TIF agreement prior to my arrival. And in that, the agreed upon by Mr. Witzman and T&M was for $10,000 for improvements to the entrance from the roadway to the old Fairhiley lumber building, along with a new sidewalk, and that has been completed. So if you have any questions about that, right now, we'll say they haven't said where they, what they plan on doing with the building. They are looking at different options, but when they're in negotiations with other companies, they sometimes don't want, you know, there's an agreement where they don't discuss in public with it. However, it does look nice, and it's a lot better than what it was. So. Are there any questions on that? Okay, move forward with the old IGA building. This has been we've been working with a new corporation or a company that just signed the ink for sure on the IGA building last Friday. The good part is that the building has sold. The plans for the building are, once again, they're in negotiation with other retailers and other businesses to move to that spot. They've applied for TIF funding. Unfortunately, that store has a lot of abatement issues with asbestos, and there's some old issues. The price tag was, and this was basically a showstopper with the company, the price tag on the abatement alone has exceeded what it was originally proposed, and now it's at $95,000. That's strictly taking the tile up and getting the mastic off the floor, and that's the part with asbestos. So with that said, the building, now that everyone knows it has it, the company was trying to move forward, didn't know if it was gonna work. We talked to them, Mayor Judge met with them, and they've requested $50,000 towards that. Now that was kind of the deal with them. They're really good to work with. They're out of, Morrison, Illinois. The company goes around, the company name's 309 Homes LLC. They go around and purchase properties like this and completely restore them so they can be used. So if you guys have any questions, I'll answer them best of my knowledge, but like I said, I know they're in negotiations or speaking with at least one other retailer, but I can't say who because they're keeping tight-lipped about that.
Makes sense.
So, but if there's no questions, I'll move on. You see approval of Empire Street plat. Basically, what we've done is we're anticipating some new enterprise out on the, behind Motorrad. That's where the proposed mental health facility is gonna go if they get the certificate of need by the state of Illinois. We also have some land that's in the process of being sold now. That's previous administration worked that deal out. They're gonna exercise their rights to that property, so we're trying to set them up to succeed. But that will require us to approve the Empire Street plat. Basically, long story short, we wanna run that road all the way back to the tree line, so businesses can have access to the property they just purchased. So, if you guys have any questions about that, let me know. And then you see ordinance 2072, which that'll cover the dedication of Empire Street. That's a first reading. I'm asking that we waive the second, mainly so we can get this moving forward, so we can hopefully start seeing progress out there. And then Resolution 686, authorization of signatures of water plant construction. During this process, Mayor, Judge, and I will be required to sign statements. The statements will probably exceed my spending authority of $10,000, which this would only address the issues with the water department. It doesn't, or the water plant, has nothing to do with any other project. It's solely just so we can keep this rolling, since we meet once every 2 weeks. And finally, I'm glad you're here, Mr. Clancy, because if there's any questions, now would be the time after I'm done speaking. I'm asking that the council give me approval to move forward with the legal proceedings at 500 and 502 Market Street, i.e. the Little Egypt's Art Center. Since September of 2020, we received a report that the structures are not safe. Despite what you might read, we have met with Mr. Clancy on a number of occasions. There's been zero progress on that front. We've had our attorneys involved. We canceled the last meeting. At this point, every time we call our attorney, it costs the city money. And without progress, I think it's time we move forward. The phone calls that we get up here are the complaints around the building. And basically, it's from the legal report that she presented and her signature, the structural engineer. I don't see that the city has any other options other than to move forward at this time. We've kind of kicked the can down the road in hopes that funding would be obtained. Funding has not been obtained, and we need to move forward with legal fees, so I'm asking for permission to move forward with those.
Mr. Chairman, may I speak to you? May I speak to the council?
Yeah, you have 5 minutes, John.
Thank you. Several things you said were incorrect. There has not been zero progress. My architect, Sherry Gambles, local architect, structural engineer, you're correct in that her first investigation of the building started this whole process. What you're incorrect, though, sir, is that as of 3 weeks ago, the architect, the only expert in the situation, has advised you and the city and your lawyer here not to take down 502 because that would threaten 500. Now that is a expert opinion. You canceled the meeting, sir. I'm ready to speak. I'm ready to talk. I mean, I took notes. Mayor Joe Judge said this council is happy to partner with you and solve the issue. Here I am.
We have. We've given you over 18 months to make
And
progress.
I'm ready to keep talking. I'm
But we
ready
can't
to keep
continue
talking.
talking, though. That's the problem.
So what's the answer?
I
You
read,
tell us, because,
Tear down a building?
no, that's the last thing that we want to do.
Then let's not do that.
But-
Let's continue.
What have you done to keep the building from deteriorating even more since we went down this road of September 2020?
I've put together a consortium that's gonna raise money. I have talked to my architect, my structural engineer.
And I
He
have
is
to.
going to bring us plans. I just don't know why.
We were
you
supposed to
guys
have
are
plans
running
back in
the clock.
July, though.
Yes, but, Your Honor, all of us can walk over to that building right now. It's not falling down.
I can guarantee if I take Fire Chief Speth in that building, the state fire marshal,
I'm asking you guys to work with me. That's all I'm doing.
and we have been,
You
though.
don't wanna work with me? You don't wanna work with me.
But John, we have been
You
working
don't
with
wanna
you.
work with me? You wanna tear down another building?
Actually, nobody has said tear down your building to this point. You have repeated that. Who?
There was a notice of a dangerous and unsafe structure served on Mr. Clancy that told him if these issues weren't corrected, that a petition for demolition could be filed.
For demolition.
Could be.
Could be,
But no
yes.
petition for demolition.
But in any of our conversations that we have had with you to this point, demo has not been spoke about.
When was that?
I believe it was served,
It was, court proceedings were due February 22nd. So I believe it was served around February 7th.
yes,
Maybe
it
a
was
little bit wrong with that.
February 7th, morning of
Yeah,
February.
February 7th. So if we're not talking demolition, let's sit down and talk. We don't have to waste these people's time. Let's sit down and talk. I'm available tomorrow. I'm available Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Let's sit down and talk. I'll tell you what my plans are, and let's save that building. That's a
John,
That's
historic
gonna
building.
cost.
I only have one,
$1,000.
the only thing I got, and I'm all, whatever we gotta do, but that letter from the engineer is 18 months old. I mean, that's a long time to be. This should have been addressed honestly by us prior to
She
this,
said-
but,
But the email is only 2 weeks old.
But her email, I think you're taking out of contents also, because I have had separate emails and conversations with Sherry. She doesn't want the building to be taken down because she doesn't want to see any more of market come down. And I'm fully 100% with her on that. What she is recommending, and that you have forwarded to us and given, that she has given us, is basically digging up your neighbor's lot and pouring a full foundation underground to keep 502 up. And you're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars to do something like that.
and I assume his permission.
This seems
Right,
like-
assuming you get permission.
This seems like we're having a conversation that is wasting these people's time.
Well, we have 5 minutes to talk about it, and that's,
Well,
we're just,
that was my 5 minutes. I mean, I'd rather talk about it directly with you all.
Mr. Clancy,
Sir?
we've talked, we've met. Your engineer couldn't make the last meeting. We weren't gonna have another meeting where we just sat there and talk in circles. That's why it was canceled. What you put out wasn't necessarily true. We didn't, not,
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, but can you clarify that? What
yeah,
did I
you
say
said we
that wasn't
refused to
able
meet. I didn't refuse to meet. I
Yes, you did.
refused
You
to
canceled
keep.
our meeting.
No, I refused to keep wasting taxpayers' money through lawyer fees
Mr.
to
Chairman,
hear
I
you
can show
talk.
you that email. You canceled
well,
our
the,
meeting.
it was set up with your,
Because your engineer
Here.
couldn't make it.
yes.
You're not an engineer. Your engineer said your 502 has 7 critical problems with it. Your engineer said building 500 has 4 critical. So that's where we're at. 18 months, those problems haven't been addressed, and that's where we're at. So I'm asking for a motion to be allowed to proceed with legal consequences for you not going and getting these repaired. You have plans, but you have not once. We asked if you had funding, you said no. Do you have insurance on the building? Because we currently have a policy or a
Ordinance.
ordinance in place that states you need to have that registered with the city, and it's not, as of 5 o'clock today.
Mr. Chairman, if you're not gonna agree to speak with me,
I have, but I refuse to.
If you need to make a motion to this council.
I did make a
to go
motion.
ahead, no, if you're about to, that is going to result in the destruction of a building that I own.
You're the only one that said
Then
destruction.
that demolishment, whatever you wanna call it, sir, then there's nothing I can say. I'll sit here like a good citizen of Mount Carmel, a taxpayer, a business owner, a man who was trying
Have
to
you
create.
acquired funding to improve these? Have you acquired the funding to improve them?
Make your motion.
I'm asking you, you want to talk about it, have you obtained funding to fix these problems?
No.
Okay. Can I make a motion to move forward?
Yep, may I have a motion?
I make it.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call, Mr. Turner.
Commissioner Meeks?
Yes.
Commissioner Eichmeyer?
Yes.
Commissioner Dolger?
Yes.
Commissioner Zimmerman?
Yes.
And that was for the cold consent agenda, correct, Mr. Turner? Or is that just on the one?
Was that the whole
No, that's
consent?
for the whole.
Okay.
Or no, that's not the agenda.
Okay.
That is strictly
Just
for
not
the
consent, that was just for-
authorization to spend
Okay.
with Mr. Waldrop.
Now I need a motion for a consent agenda.
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call, Mr. Turner.
Commissioner Eichmeyer?
Yes.
Commissioner Meeks?
Yes.
Commissioner Dolger?
Yes.
Commissioner Zimmerman?
Yes.
I'm sorry, is there something else,
Do we have to say
Commissioner?
that we needed to waive the second? Not, or that was.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, you do.
You want to amend your motion? Or did I make that? Who made that motion? Did you make that or
You
not?
made the,
Basically, does anyone change their,
on the agenda on the.
and-
I made the motion.
Yeah.
I will amend my motion to include the waiving of the,
The second.
I made
Second
the motion of the
Oh, now I'm all
consent
confused.
agenda. You did the other one.
Okay.
Ugh,
are you amending your motion?
yeah.
What motion are we talking about?
The second reading.
Yes.
To waive the consent.
Sorry.
Waive the
reading.
second
Okay.
reading
Of ordinance
of the
or
dedication of
resolution.
On
Empire.
2072. Sorry about that.
2072.
All right.
I didn't even know he made the motion.
Didn't I?
He never made the motion.
Mr. Turner, does that complete the agenda?
Yes, it completes the agenda, and it completes my report.
We have down executive session this evening.
I didn't know if you wanted to do your reports through your,
We kind of.
Oh, sorry, we jumped, didn't we?
Yeah, we jumped.
Oh, my bad. All right, Mr. Waldrop.
No report.
All right, Chief McWilliams.
No report.
Chief Speth.
The only thing I had was, it's March and the wind's gonna be picking up stuff, so if you've got a fire pit, or if you live out in the country, burning brush, please do not do it on a windy day, cause Saturday is several fire departments out all day because of the high winds and the brush fires and stuff. So that's about all I have, Mayor.
Okay, I do want to pass on a very grateful thank you. I was contacted by Citizens National Bank in Albion, and they were right next door to the fire down in Crossville. And all the work that all the different fire departments did was able to save their building with very minimal damage. And they were very thankful. So applaud
14 departments.
14 department. Well, I heard it was a hot one and a big one. So anyways, please commend your firefighters for their work. Mr. Gidcombe.
In the last 2 weeks, the fire department and myself and Mr. Easter have gone out to the medical building at the hospital and also Dr. Fulop's building. We've done alarm and sprinkler testing at Dr. Fulop's, and we should in the next 2 weeks have the alarm testing, so they'll get an occupancy permit here shortly for both of those. And I just want to let everybody know that all of the departments are working together well, so
Yes.
we're getting a lot more accomplished.
It is amazing, as functioning as one, the amount of work we are getting done now. So, thank you very much for
In my
leading.
report.
Thank you. All right. All right, so I need a motion to adjourn, and then a roll call and then a motion to go in executive session, correct?
Correct.
All right, so I need a roll call to, or a motion to adjourn. Do I have a motion?
I'll make it.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, roll call, Mr. Turner.
You and I are on the same.
Commissioner Meeks,
Yes.
Commissioner Eichmeyer.
Yes.
Commissioner Dolger,
Yes.
Commissioner Zimmerman.
All right,
Now you need a motion to go in.
I will once, what's that? Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because now the meeting's over.
Yeah,
So you shouldn't be able to have this
no,
executive session.
all right, all right, we'll do it next time.
No, thank you.
I forgot.
I wondered when we go to it and then you come
Yep.
back.
I mean, if you want, I'm not being a.
No, you're right, you're correct. We just don't go to executive session enough.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's all we wanted.
Chris was talking about executive session, they go on.
Oh,
I'm sure they do.
sorry, I messed that one up.
No,
But we'll be back, Evan, here in a minute if you wanna
no, I'm
stick
good.
around.
No, I'm good.
Should we wait? Mess that up?
Huh?
I was thinking about it.
Attorney, how do I reopen?
I don't know we can.
I think you'd have to do it at the next meeting.
I think we'll have
Next
to wait.
meeting, okay.
Do what?
I think we'll have to wait.
We gotta wait till next meeting since I closed it.
Is that gonna give you enough
Did
time?
we approve the agenda though?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what we just signed.
That's what,
That's,
Well, you got all kinds of flustered fucked.
Yes, I did.